One place I've never come to shoot a video before until today has been this boat launch over here in North Bay Village. Figured just be a cool, different place to come and shoot today. Some boats going in the water. I'll show you guys some of that. And we can talk about property taxes and how everybody is getting completely bankrupt by this, guys, because you know, I have shown you guys numerous examples here in my videos of people having property tax bills going from $4,000 a year to $40,000 a year when people buy these houses here in Miami and somebody else owned it for all these years and bought it at such a lower price, and then when the property got reassessed, the taxes went absolutely through the roof. And before you think that, whoa, this is just happening here in Florida because home prices exploded and all of this, it's not the case, guys. In fact, this is happening to people all over the country, and there are a bunch of homeowners in Hamilton County, Ohio right now that are absolutely furious because a bunch of people there had their property tax bill double in the last 6 months. And some people have seen an increase over 500% because of this reassessment over there. To make matters worse, the property tax bill is due by February 5th. So that's in just a few days from now, and you have a bunch of people there saying, wait a minute, we can't pay this. So what are they gonna do? And they're basically telling the news outlets over there saying, hey, if we don't get help with this, if we don't get some sort of assistance, we're gonna be forced out of our homes. That's how dire the situation is becoming over there, which is unbelievable that it's coming to this, guys. Like, you know, when did you ever hear stories in the past? I can never remember a single instance hearing before 2024 where people's property tax bills went up by 500% or doubled in one county and are forcing people onto the streets. When did you hear about this before then? You didn't, because it never used to happen until now. But this is something I've been talking about here on the channel and warning about well over a year, because I seen it happening here first. I seen how much these property tax bills were going up by and how much people are being affected by it. And basically the reason this is happening is because in the state of Ohio, every 6 years, there's a government mandated property tax assessment that happens. And this place is seeing the worst of it, but this is something that people all over the state of Ohio are actually going to face on some level. People might not see their bill double, but it is going to go up. I can guarantee you, nobody's property tax bill is going to go down in Ohio once this assessment is finished. In fact, they say that the average amount that people have seen their bills go up are between 30 and 40%. Like, that's nothing, like no big deal. Well, yeah, compared to 500% or 100% increase, I guess 30 to 40% is not so bad, but that is still a massive hike, guys. That's when I just can't stand when people say, oh, you should become a homeowner because your expenses are gonna be fixed for life and you don't have to worry about it in retirement, guys. That is just the biggest fallacy ever right now, because rent goes up and property taxes and insurance goes up even more. We have the data to prove it. The rate of mortgage payments have surpassed the increases in rent payments over the past few years, and it is still cheaper in 2024 to be a renter than to be a homeowner by a pretty wide margin, in some cases by up to 50% cheaper. Now, one of the commissioners there in Hamilton County is saying that she's outraged, and the whole state system they have is flawed there. Now all of a sudden it's flawed, now that people are seeing their tax bills go up, but before it was okay, right? Well, anyways, it's gaining attention not only because of the amount of increases, but a lot of her constituents are complaining to her and saying, we're now paying more in property taxes than we're paying for our mortgage. What have I been saying, guys? What have I been saying here on the channel that's going to continue happening to people? This is it right here. When you combine your property taxes and insurance these days, there's going to be a lot of people out there now who are paying more just to pay for that stuff than their actual mortgage payment, especially if you live in a lower cost of living area like Ohio, because their mortgage payments are so low because the home values are so low. So when these expenses rise, it starts outpacing what you're paying for your home. So this commissioner says, well, we're working on some temporary relief for our residents and homeowners to address the property tax hike as well as the cost of the mortgage. Like, What is the answer, guys? Like, is the government just going to try to rescue everybody from now on? Is everybody just going to get free money the moment they run into a roadblock that they can't afford anymore? Is that the future of this country? I don't know. That's what it seems like to me, based on what we saw happen during the pandemic and when you hear them say things like this. But she did say it was temporary, which indicates to me they'll probably give some assistance, but it's probably going to have to be paid back. So it's probably just going to be temporary relief that is not going to help people in the long run, because if people can't afford a property tax hike like this, they're definitely not going to be able to afford their property tax bill next year, which means they're going to have to sell their house, and they're going to have to use some of that money to repay some of this assistance. That's the only way forward through this for people that can't afford these hikes. And they're saying, guess what? This is just the beginning, because people are just now starting to see these hikes, and this is a problem that's likely to grow in Ohio over the next couple of years. Because apparently this reevaluation happens on a county basis, and they have several other counties that are set to do a reassessment this year, and they haven't seen that tax hike yet. So more and more places are going to see this happen, and people are going to wake up one day stunned that, hey, this is the new bill for my house. I always wonder what all of these wings are here. I thought they were airplane wings. Apparently they are fins from submarines. So one thing that they're trying to do to change the way property values are assessed in the state of Ohio moving forward is they want to use the last 3 years of assessed value of the property rather than just the last year, which I think that's how every county nationwide should do it, guys, because you know, when you see these anomalies in the housing market like we saw the last few years where prices jumped up like crazy in 1 year, that can really mess with your property tax value. And it causes problems like this where people are seeing these exponential increases with basically no warning. But I'll tell you what, man, anybody who thinks that, you know, renting is a waste of money and owning a home is always the better bet in the long run, this is not always true. It might have been true in the past, especially when you could easily buy a home before for way less money, first of all, and the expenses to maintain that home were far lower. Your property taxes and insurance were normal because nothing is normal anymore. That might have been true, but now we're living in a new reality where it seems like all the old rules don't apply anymore. It's getting to the point with all these expenses and with how much it costs to become a homeowner, it's basically only for the rich, guys. And then when you actually get your hands on that house, just to be able to maintain it and pay all these ongoing expenses costs a fortune as well. You're not out of the woods once you've made your down payment and bought the house. That's just the beginning. Now, apparently they have another bill in Ohio that will stop counties from hiking their property tax value if the assessments come in too low. So at least if you live in a county in Ohio where the property values really haven't gone up, you shouldn't have to worry about your property taxes going up. And whenever this bill passed, you know, the county auditors and treasurers are saying this is going to wreak havoc on the tax collection process and force counties that have just concluded the reappraisals to repeat the operation. Like, they're freaking out that they're not going to be able to charge some people more already, which is crazy, you know? And here's what some of the locals have to say about this. They say, in an already difficult economy, seniors, the working class, and all homeowners just trying to provide for their families and feel safe and secure in their own homes are suddenly slapped with thousands of dollars in unexpected taxes by our county. That's exactly what's happening. I've seen it happen here over and over again in Florida, and now it's happening in places like Ohio, and who knows where's next. Probably everywhere is my guess. And I know this might seem like a shock to some people, but I've been calling this for over a year, guys, because I've seen this happen on countless numbers of listings here in Florida, where you see the property tax bill go from $5,000 a year to $60,000 a year, $4,000 a year to $40,000 a year overnight when somebody buys that property, and the value of it gets reassessed because the new purchase price is so much higher than what it was 15 years ago. And so now everybody in Ohio is going to be asking the same question that I've been asking here forever, like, what's happening with all this extra money, guys? What are they doing with this extra money? You know, these counties are making out like bandits, collecting all this extra money, but you are seeing nothing from it. I guarantee you're still dealing with the same problems in your neighborhood. You're still dealing with that same pothole that they haven't fixed for the past 6 months, and all of that, the crumbling sidewalks, infrastructure that doesn't work, you know, road work, all these things. And where does the money go? But apparently more and more people are waking up to this, which I'm happy about, and I hope my videos can contribute to that awareness just a little bit, because according to a new poll, about 2/3 of Americans said they believe their property tax rate is too high. The poll was conducted in 2023 between December 14th and December 18th, and was conducted across all 50 states. So they tested everybody from all over the place. 69% of adults believe their property tax rates were unfair, with 27% saying they were about right, and 3% claiming they're too little. You know, I hope all those 3% that say that it was too low get smacked with this huge increase and get that 500% increase on their bill. Oh, you said it was too low? Here you go. Honestly, I don't know who in their right mind would complain their property tax bill is too low, but these are the people we live amongst. Now, people who live in New Jersey and Illinois and New Hampshire are probably already used to this, because those 3 states are the top 3 where property taxes are the highest. So you guys are paying the most to your local governments over there, and have been for a long time. But what's even worse than having the property tax bill being too high is not feeling like you're getting anything out of it. In fact, 36% of the people polled believe that the value of the services they're receiving from paying taxes is poor. A further 39% said they think the value of services from property taxes are neither good or poor. So 40% are just like meh, while 23% of people said they think they get good value for the money. So that's not very good, guys. It's barely a quarter of the people surveyed say that they think they get good value from their property tax money. And for how much we all pay today, that's a crime. But it seems like there is a little bit of a misconception about property taxes, because half of the people polled think that middle income earners are bearing the brunt of the tax burden. Low to middle income earners are the ones who are paying the most in property taxes, when we can in fact see that it's not true from the examples I've given here on the channel. You know, the more you pay for a house, the more you're paying in property taxes, no matter where you buy a house in the country. So people who are spending more on a house are definitely being charged more. But the problem is, guys, everybody's getting hit with the same percentage of increase. You know, when the millage rate goes up on the property taxes, we all get hit with that at the same level of percentage. And so the problem is, even though you might not have to pay as much as the guy that bought the $3 million house, your percentage of the amount you're seeing an increase is going up the same as his. So therefore, that higher property tax bill is going to take up a larger percentage of your income as well, versus the multimillionaire can afford that extra increase, and it's not going to break the bank for them. Only 41% of the people surveyed say that they have the confidence in their state government to spend tax money in their best interest, okay? 34% said they're only somewhat confident, and 33% believe their tax money is being spent well. So once again, the people who are on board with how much is being collected, with where all the money is going, is definitely the minority number, okay? You're not seeing the majority of people out there who are paying property taxes satisfied with this. Then here's the bottom line, guys. People are tired of being taxed to death on everything, okay? Because 67% of Americans think that the federal income taxes are too high, along with 62% saying they thought that their state sales tax cost too much. So this is like the number one thing that costs us more money than ever now, is just taxes, guys. The taxes on everything keep going up. And it's the number one reason, by the way, I have not moved to California, because I don't think I can stomach all of the taxes that they have over there. Like, even if you can afford it, just knowing that all of that money is just going down the drain and being wasted by the state government is just like a travesty, guys. I don't know if I can handle that, to be honest. But I've been telling people for a while now to get ready for this, and lo and behold, it's starting to happen to more and more people. And I don't see this problem improving, guys. Like, do you think that all these local taxing authorities are just going to turn around and just lower everybody's taxes because everybody's complaining? No. You know, one thing I mentioned a while ago in one of my videos is everybody across the country should just strike and stop paying property taxes. That'd be the quickest way to get all of our property taxes lowered. But we can't seem to get anything together. We can't have any coordinated efforts anymore. So that's never going to happen. It's just a pipe dream. But I think it would work in practice if people could actually band together and do it. And it's really sad because even once you have a fully paid off home, which is the #1 reason that people say this is the reason you want to become a homeowner, so that way in retirement you can lower your living expenses. You don't have your mortgage anymore. Well, so what if your mortgage payment was less than your property taxes and insurance? You're still going to have that bill forever. That's going to continually go up forever. Now, sure, once you don't have a mortgage anymore, technically you can drop your homeowner's insurance and go bare if you want to, but that's a risk that a lot of people probably aren't willing to take unless the bill gets high enough and they simply have no choice. They just have to stop paying for it, like so many people that don't pay for car insurance anymore. And everybody's getting what they asked for, you know. So many people have been wanting home prices to continue going up. Well, according to the Case-Shiller Home Price Index data in November, it was the 10th straight month that home prices went up according to the index, and they're claiming that home prices increased 5.1% nationally in November year over year. Well, guess what happens when that happens, guys? Property taxes go up, insurance goes up. When the value of the home goes up, it costs more to insure it because the replacement value is higher, and your property tax bill will go up because now your assessed value is going to be higher. So yeah, what is the benefit of this? I don't understand why everybody is so happy to see their home value go up, because all it means is a higher bill for you. Until you sell that house and take that profit and walk away and do whatever you're going to do with that money, you don't see any benefit from your home value going up. But you have to be careful when looking at data points like this, because you hear the Case-Shiller Home Price Index went up 5.1%, and that makes it sound like that nowhere and no markets across the country are you seeing price declines, which couldn't be further from the truth, guys, because they say that the only market in their 20-city composite that saw price declines was Portland, Oregon. They dropped 0.7%. But if I pull up the Reventure app here, I can scroll through 100 metros throughout the United States that have all seen a decline in home prices. And the top one here was the worst one, Pecos, Texas, 27%, guys. Prices are down year over year. And it just goes down the list here. As you can see, there are plenty of places throughout the country that are seeing price declines year over year, and some of them pretty substantial. But I'm not entirely surprised to see this, because really the only people that can afford to buy right now in this market are people who are pretty well off, doing very good financially, basically rich. And when you still have very low inventory levels in a lot of different places, and you have people that have a lot of money competing for those homes for sale, I think naturally it's going to push the prices up. But once again, that's not something that can last forever. People who are buying these houses, they have to be buying them to live in, because none of these deals make any sense from an investment point of view, okay? My sister, she sent me a house for sale in Illinois, because that's where she lives still, and it's the house right next to hers, and she asked me if I would want to buy it as an investment. So I ran the numbers, and it's like, well, this house can only rent for $1,400 a month, but I'm going to be paying $1,750 a month on my mortgage, taxes, and insurance. So clearly, you're not making any money on buying this house. Even if you bought this house for $150,000, which is way below what they're asking, by the way, they would never take this offer, you're barely scraping $400 a month off of that property, guys. One hiccup, one big expense with that property for the year, you're done. That wipes out your entire profit, you know? You're barely making $4,800 a year like that, and all you need is a problem with the HVAC, something like that to go wrong, and you make nothing. So there's not really any big incentive for investors to jump into the market right now. So people who are buying up these houses today and paying more and more for them have to be doing it to live there. Doesn't really make any sense otherwise. And we've covered a lot with property taxes here, guys, but we also talk a lot about insurance. And I just want to let you know that California, they lost another insurance company recently. The Hartford Financial Services Group, they're going to stop offering new California homeowners insurance policies starting in February. And only people that currently have a policy that meet the company's underwriting guidelines will continue to be renewed. So basically, if you live in an area where we think we're never going to have to pay out, we'll renew you. But if you live in an area that's been having claims recently, you can almost guarantee you're going to get dropped. But just like Florida, they're going to suffer the same fate, guys. As more and more companies leave the state, the prices for insurance is going to skyrocket. And California and Florida are like the early warning indicators of seeing how bad this can get. You know, you're seeing people have their insurance bill go from $4,000 a year to $14,000 a year in some cases. Like crazy stuff. And while that might not be quite as dramatic in other areas across the country, it can still double for a lot of people. Just like what happened in Ohio with the property tax situation, you can easily start to expect your homeowner's insurance to double in many different areas, because all these companies are going to be doing this to recover the losses that they've been seeing over the past couple of years. So they don't care if you've made a claim, they don't care if you live in an area that never gets disasters, they're going to charge everybody for it. So if you ask me, it's just a matter of time before every single existing homeowner out there all across the country gets hit with a sizable property tax increase and with a sizable property insurance increase. And whether or not you can afford it is yet to be seen, because you don't know how much it's going to go up by yet. And I would say the scariest part of this whole thing, guys, is you get pre-qualified to buy a house, right? You kind of figure your budget, you figure out, well, I can afford that $1,700 a month payment or whatever it is. But then when you get slapped upside the head unexpectedly with the bill going up by $500, and now all of a sudden it's $2,200 a month instead of $1,700, what do? You know, most people don't have the financial bandwidth to absorb that size of an increase. So I think naturally this whole phenomenon is going to lead to a lot of people selling their houses, which is the forced selling that I have been talking about here on the channel. If nothing else causes home prices to go down, I believe this will in the long run, as these expenses become unaffordable for people that own these homes. Let me know if you guys have experienced this. I know many of you have. Put it in the comments, share with everybody what's going on. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.